So the last question: when was the first time you experienced racism, and how did you handle it? Now that's so. Yeah, it's funny because like it's a long time ago. So yeah, I remember because it was completely like bam, you know.
Yeah.
What about you?
For me, is quite subtle, and I think a lot of people would know who lived in Canada or Canadians. You know, it's very subtle, and it's so you're not even aware of it, but it's just that lingering, that feeling where something just doesn't seem right.
Yeah,
And it just feels a little bit off.
it doesn't add up, right?
Doesn't add up. Just little things of how someone might be treating you a little bit differently, and you're like, oh, but okay, well, even with, and they say it the same. I think it came to a certain point, especially with, how would you say it? I don't know if they have it here, but they have like the special ed course.
Yeah.
Or I don't know how you guys might have the program.
Yeah.
In your schooling, I don't know if you guys had that.
We had that, yeah.
So that was something, they usually get people, or they look at kids, and if they assume that, maybe they might be a little bit more, as they call it, distracting other kids, because they might be too talkative, or something of the sort, they then classify them as having behavioral issues. And, I say this as well, where I'm like, at some point they had said that and people who know me, when they realize and they say like, they said that I was distracting kids. Well, some people who know me, they're like, you were distracting kids, because I'm not really a person who talks. I don't talk too much, other than here, but like outside of just this general environment, I'm normally more of a slightly introvert, slightly extrovert in some ways. Yeah. So for them to say that, I was like, I think about that, and I'm like, wow, really? What was I specifically doing in that time? And it wasn't till, when they decide to make the decision and you get put into that program, they then, it's like they already classify you as, either you're in that class because either you have a behavioral issue, there's some sort of issue, that because you're not acting as the normal child should be acting or whatnot. But I think that was, in some ways, in those beginning stages of that program, and even maybe now, I haven't really looked into it, but I think they definitely taken that program and did misuse in some ways in classifying kids in these programs to, I guess you could say, put them in that stereotypical box of not being quite.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But like, sometimes you wonder if there's like this implicit bias. You see maybe a black and brown kid, and you think, oh, those kids might cause problems,
Yeah.
So I don't know. Does that make sense?
Something along those lines, yeah. And I think it's not even till later on where, there was only this one teacher I remember who I came across, and she's like, why was she even put into this program? Yeah. And she's telling my mom this, and she's like, I don't understand why they even put her into this program. Yeah. Because I don't see any issues with her. She doesn't have any behavior issues. She's just is how she is. Yeah. And I think she was the only one that ended up stepping into that point. So it only takes that one person who really sees it for what it is and wonder, second guesses things a little bit more. But I think that's probably, I feel to an extent, that's probably the first time where, I wasn't fully aware because I was pretty young. Yeah. But I think that at that time, that was definitely maybe one of my first instances for me.
Instances, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, mine was a bit more,
Very direct.
It was very direct. It was very, very,
direct.
very direct. So, so I'm born in Congo, as you guys know. Well, as I told in the beginning, so I'm born in Congo in Lubumbashi. Then at some point we moved to South Africa. Like I think it was 1991. And in South Africa, before going to an English school, my mom and my dad wanted to bring us into it was like a French school basically. But that's because we didn't know if we were going to stay longer in South Africa or not. So we went to that school, and then there was a teacher. I don't remember her name, and thank God I don't remember her name. And I don't want to start saying her name on camera, because she was like,
you sure you don't remember her name?
No, I can't remember the name, but I don't want to,
I remember the one teacher that was the worst. I always remember her name.
Oh my God,
the best and the worst.
Yeah, so like that teacher, we'll say Mrs. Brown. We won't name anybody. No, we won't do that.
No.
But I was in class, and there was like a math problem I couldn't quite understand, and I was, because like I raised my hands and I told her I don't understand, and she came up to me, very nicely, just like, oui, Raphael, and then she sat down, and then I was like, I was trying to, so she's like, so do you, like, she was explaining me, the problem without giving me the answers. How teachers are, they want they want to help you, but just like give you just enough for you to understand and get the answer, then, it was, school was always but yeah, so, but I could not, it did not compute in my mind, and then she got up because, I had to do it on my own, and then she whispered under her breath, those little N never understands. So I was a kid, and I was like, what does N mean? Well, we all know what N means. I mean, the N word,
Yes.
And then I was like, that was like the first time I really I came back to my parents, I told them what it was, my parents explained me what the N word was, and then I was like, oh, and she like whispered that under her breath, thinking I wouldn't hear, but I heard, So that was the first time of me, I was like, how old? I was like 8 or 7, I don't remember, or 9. Yeah. So that was like that time I was like, oh, okay, so now I understand what racism is, So yeah, that's my story. Like, I don't have much more to add to it. I mean, it's pretty much,
Yeah.
Bam.
Right there.
Just right there. Like, she
direct
under her breath. She was like, those little N. I was like, ooh, ma'am. So so I think we talked a bit about experiences. I think,
Yeah.
I don't know if there's something to add or
anything to add. Other than the gaslighting?
Gaslighting? Oh yeah, gaslighting. Well, gaslighting is very interesting because
Do we want to talk about the gaslighting?
Do you want to talk about the gaslighting? Okay, so
Yeah, you
we'll talk about
can, because people don't realize it.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't.
Gaslighting. Sometimes people, how can I say this? Okay, so for me, when something happens to you, like, okay, I'm gonna go like with a very like straight up example, so you're gonna understand a little bit what we're trying to say. You're in a place, you're with your friends, last time with Vanessa, and then we hear a person come by to us and say, you N-word. And we're like, what? And it's very direct,
It's
yeah?
very direct.
It's very direct, And then we're like, what? And then we're like, that was racist. That was racist. And a person will tell you, no, it's not racist. Come on. You're exaggerating, like, not everyone says the N-word, it's just that one person. And
maybe
they
they weren't saying it directly to you, or,
yeah,
maybe you misheard them.
You misheard them. I don't think they were trying to, but you're like the only black people in a space of white people.
Yeah.
Not just white people, just like any other people,
Yeah.
But like, you know, I've been black for 35 years. I think I would know. You know?
30 plus,
Yeah.
I'm not going in there. 30 plus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's like, so you know what's been said to you directly,
Mhm.
but people try and make you
They
because
minimize.
they minimize, or they're trying to make you look crazy for feeling a certain way, you know.
Yeah.
And it's fun because gaslighting, it's something that's very subtle. So for
I
me,
think a lot of people don't even realize.
they don't realize it.
A lot of people don't realize they're doing it.
they're doing it. Yeah, like
No. Because I get
Yeah.
it. You know, there's some friends who say this, and I'm like, why am I always? I'm saying this is how I felt about this situation,
Yeah.
and this has happened, and you're every time I tell you my experience, you're completely twisting it as though, oh, you know, well, I've had this. And I don't think it really is something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
It is.
I know how I felt.
Yeah.
How I felt. How they were looking at me.
Yeah.
There was a note there.
Yeah.
There was a note on there.
Oh
I know
yeah.
what I was saying. I know in that moment that it didn't feel right.
Yeah, like it didn't sit well.
It didn't sit well.
Yeah.
No.
Cause like I remember once I was at a person's place house. I won't say who, of course, but yeah, like this is an experience, just like, you know. And then a person asked me, so as a black person, how have you dealt with like a long time ago, before all of this, you know. And I would tell my experience as a black person, how racism, you know, affects me, you know, racism with the power dynamics, and, you know. And then, you know, and I told her this how it affected me. And then there was a woman who said, you know, I'm not taking this away from her, but this is what she said. Well, you know, you know, people say mean things to other people. You know, people attack me because I'm fat, you know? And then I'm not taking this away, because people do get attacked for there is like, people do get attacked for being, you know, overweight, you know?
Yeah.
But it's not exactly the same, you know? And then they want to minimize that, you know, 400, 500 years of black oppression, and make it seem like
It's at the same
the same level of being attacked because you're overweight. And I'm not taking away from anybody, because we all know people are getting attacked because they're being overweight, like on television, we make fun of people, you know. But to minimize, but to try and equate it, when we all know our ancestors, our ancestors went through the toughest things ever. I'm like, so I'm just like, I'm glad I wasn't born in that era. But you know, I'm laughing nervously, of course, but yeah, so when somebody does that to you, and then when you tell your experience as a black person, and we're trying to minimize the experience, we're trying to make you look like you're crazy to feel a certain way, or, you know, just like my example, I said, somebody says the N-word, and they will say, maybe it wasn't directed at you, maybe, well, amongst black people, you do say the N-words amongst yourself.
Not everyone.
Not everyone.
No,
you know,
I don't do it.
I don't do it too, you know, but if there were other black people who were to do it, and if a black person were to say it to me,
I still don't do it.
I wouldn't do it.
And still someone does it to me, I tell them that I don't.
No,
that
you
doesn't
know.
sit well with me.
But you know, it's just like but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
it's just like
it's
this. Yeah, like for me personally, like for me, if a black person would say to me like, "Hey, my N," it wouldn't hit me the same way another person of another race would do it to me. But that's me per se. You know, like for me, I wouldn't like you like I would see it differently, because when somebody like when it's a white person, when it's a Caucasian, it's so like it's always you know that when they say that, you don't know what's gonna happen next. You don't know if that person said that.
I don't know.
What is going to happen next? Should I be running now? Should I, you know?
I laugh like this because I'm like, oh.
You don't know, you know.
No.
So that's the gaslighting part. And I think if we, I don't
I
know.
think there's a lot of people that need to become more aware.
Yeah.
I think now is the time to become more consciously aware of
Yeah.
how we are saying certain things, how we are listening,
Mm.
actively listening to people
Mm.
of color that are friends,
Yeah.
relatives,
Yeah.
who not, acquaintances, and making sure that, acknowledging it, but, when you do have that second thought in your head of, oh, well, maybe it's not like this. No, don't go there.
Yeah.
Just be there to listen and support.
And sometimes you just, there you go, just listen. Sometimes, and listen and have a conversation. Don't shut a person down when, like the way I was shut down when I was talking about my how I was dealt with racism. And it's like, well, this happens to me when I was, somebody attacked me for being overweight, like just listen. We can have a civil conversation, I guess, without, attacking each other.
Yeah, but even when they're saying it's not even like they're tagging. It's more just, oh, well, this is it. You're not hearing me.
You're not hearing me.
You're not hearing me. I don't need to hear what you are saying. Oh, well, this is, just hear me.
Yeah.
Acknowledge what I'm saying. Accept this is how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And just, that's all we want. Just, it's not that hard.
And we're all humans. Like, we all have issues.
Yeah.
But I think it's also important that intersectionally speaking, some people have more issues than others.
Mm.
And sometimes when you're in a position of privilege, being in a position of privilege does not make you an evil person, does not make you a bad person. But if we want to put people in the same, we have to be willing to listen, I think it's more how you handle your privilege that will determine if you are a good or bad person. Like, it sounds very cliche, good or bad person, but you know what I'm trying to say,
Right.
Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
So this is it. I think
yes.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think I have nothing. I don't have any more to add. Do you have anything else to add?
No. We've covered quite a bit.
Yeah. So I hope you guys liked our conversation. It was very conversational.
Very.
Yeah. As you can see, we weren't being, stop doing this. We stayed very, just talking about experiences as me as an African person, as a Congolese person, and as a Canadian, Caribbean person. We all have different experiences, and just to listen, and to be willing to understand that some people have it harder than you or than me or than, I'm just blabbering now. It's like, now I'm like blah, blah, blah.
Just keep going.
Just keep going. So this is it, guys. Thank you for listening. I hope you guys like the conversation.
Thank you.
And, bye.
Bye.